Illinois.
And Diane Barber will take us to the #1 radio station in Peoria as she continues her special report. A station known as Rock 93 died. A new station with live disc jockeys hit the air sporting a new name. Diane Barber takes us behind the FM dial at our own KZ93.
KZ93, look out, baby, I'm hot on your trail. We're going to run to you, Brian Adams from Reckless.
KZ93 is hot on your trail, maybe even more than you know. They know a lot about listeners' tastes, and they even know what music's hot in different zip codes. The station does local research to determine what will keep a dial tuned to 93.
It's a big part of what we do. Everything, I usually check out the research and then, you know, the stores and the local input, and also request, I forgot to mention that. But it's a major part of our operation as far as what goes on the station.
When MTV hit the market a few years ago, it also showed up in KZ's research and even on the request line.
Well, we get a lot of unusual requests. I would have to say people calling me and asking me to play a song on MTV.
They're a factor because a lot of times they break music in Peoria that we're not playing yet because we do tend to sometimes be a little slower and careful.
Button pushers, people who frequently switch stations, might be a program director's nightmare, but Edwards says there is one thing that sets KZ apart.
Whenever somebody punches in KZ93 or tunes us in, they're going to hear a familiar song.
People today take their music with them. Boxes are big and Walkmans are seen everywhere.
The lifestyle has changed so much among 18 to 34-year-olds that, you know, a few years ago they were more into oldies. Now they're into, you know, the current type music. People are dancing again, too.
KZ has always been very active with special promotions, and there are indications that that will not change.
I don't think we gear any one promotion to any certain demographic. Yeah, we've got a few things that we're going to do in the spring. Hear that?
Diane Barber, News Center 31.
Tomorrow, Diane will take us behind the scenes at another Peoria radio station trying to attract the young adult audience.
New problems for the area's churches.
And Diane Barber takes us behind the scenes at a local FM station trying to attract the young adult audience.
On the wall of every Production Credit Association office, you'll find this commitment.
Local churches have responded to tough economic times with food pantries, soup kitchens, and guidance. But the problem is such a new one for this area, churches are always looking for more ways to help out.
Weather gets warmer. Cynthia Lynn, News Center 31.
It is not all that unusual for a radio station to make changes in its format. In 1980, a contemporary hit station did a little fine-tuning after the format was given a one-year test. Tonight, Diane Barber takes us once again behind the FM dial at 104.
Time, they need the temperature, they need to know what happened the night before. Plus, we mix that up with some entertainment, some music, and we try to put a smile on her face. And you just try not to take yourself too seriously because, after all, this isn't brain surgery.
Q104 doctors its format with a high dose of oldies and current hits under the label of adult contemporary music. It's geared to people between the ages of 18 to 49 with a targeted audience of 25 to 49. This station also monitors trade magazines, record stores, and personal requests to determine just what people really want to hear.
We also monitor other radio stations in markets similar in size and whose characteristics are similar to those of Peoria. So and then you take all of this information and you throw it in a big bowl and you stir it up and you dump them out, and that's what you play. It's a combination of science and gut.
Listener lines can be a two-way street when you sit in a glass cubicle talking to people that you can't see. And sometimes those listeners do some pretty unusual things.
And I mentioned that it was Bob Denver's birthday, January 9th, and he was 50 years old, and that nobody was doing anything about the fact that it was Gilligan's birthday. And a woman calls up and starts singing the Gilligan's Island theme. And then another woman calls up and says the first one didn't sing it right, and she sang the whole Gilligan's Island theme for us.
Q104 hopes it will continue to grow as the FM band becomes more and more popular.
I think FM has been in a growth pattern for several years now, And I see that continuing. I believe most of the automobiles rolling off the assembly lines are equipped with FM radios, and I believe that trend will continue.
You know, we don't talk about it very much because it's old news now.
Diane Barber, News Center 31.
Well, I heard one of our photographers come in from the